It's time now for us to take a look at stories making headlines on Nigerian newspapers this Friday morning. And as usual, we've got a host of them. We're looking at the Nation newspaper right now. And of course, the Bayelsa Imo Kogi elections are still, taking the front page. That is, the riders on the Nation read, all set for elections. Military warns miscreants to stay off. The DSS cautions against inflammatory statements, and hotel scarcity leaves INEC officials as well as security agents stranded. That's in the corner just below the masthead. But the biggest story is Thursday's happenings at the major airports in Nigeria, with Governor Uzodinma as well as the Minister of Aviation, Keyamo, and CSOs telling the Labour that their protests are partisan. Of course, the Labour spokespersons, especially the president of the TUC, Usifo, is saying we will not stop. But then there is the impact of their controversial entry at the Abuja-Lagos airports on Thursday, as that left passengers stranded. And we'll also get to talk about that during the course of the show this morning. But other stories there: Yoruba in diaspora to Tinubu eradicate poverty. The picture story there is on like a follow-up to what we discussed earlier on the show this morning. President Tinubu appearing there or seen there with Deputy Governor of Riyadh during his his official visit to Saudi Arabia. And there's another update that Nigeria and Saudi Arabia have signed an MOU on oil gas investment. Of course, with Saudi Arabia, that's the quotation there on the front page of the Nation, boasting advanced technologies in oil and gas exploration as well as production. Nigeria, it believes, stands to gain significantly from this knowledge transfer. All right, moving on now to Salient Times. Flight ban. Still on the happenings at the airport in Abuja and Lagos on Thursday. Don't let politics destroy labor movement. That's from the federal government. There should be consequences. This is from Imo elders. And for the governor, Ajero pursuing Labour Party's interest in Imo State. Mommy be calming down. That's a very sad development there, since that's a very popular hashtag. Well, now the police have detained husband as mother of viral boy commits suicide. A really unfortunate story there. Former student allegedly stabbed teacher to death in Taraba State, and posterity will judge us. That's from Mohbad's father to his daughter-in-law. Nigerian News Direct now. Operation Liberty. Labour grounds flight in Abuja airport threatens to shut Lagos airport if Ajero's attack is not brought to book. As aviation ministers urges Labour to vacate airport, says the sector has nothing to do with attackers. And on the Russia-Ukraine crisis, Nigeria looks to Europe to increase sale of crude oil. Finally with me is First News. Off-cycle elections, military uncovers plan by persons to wear camouflage, disrupt process, vows to deal decisively with troublemakers, says injurious consequences await offenders. Security agencies will handle troublemakers in Bayelsa Kogi Imo. That's from the minister. Mommy be calming down. Again, police detain husband as mother of viral boy commits suicide. On vote buying, ICPC deploys operatives to monitor Saturday's polls. Shake-up in police, Egbetoko redeploys 26 CPs, 14 AIGs. Afeni Ferry lambasts Ayo Adebanjo rejects statement faulting Supreme Court judgment. These and more on First News. Check them all out for more information.
Daily Independence is the first with me here. Kogi, Bayelsa, Imo, Goba pose another litmus test for INEC. Stakeholders see voter apathy, doubt INEC assurances. Police declare 5 Bayelsa council areas violence prone. Military warns troublemakers of injurious consequences. Now, federal government declares state of emergency on humanitarian crisis. Then Russia-Ukraine crisis takes toll on Nigeria's crude. That's according to NNPC. Above the masthead, airlines passengers groan as Labour grounds operations to tow out of Imo Airport. Shake-up in police as IG redeploys 14 AIGs, 26 CPs. Next is Leadership Friday. As polls hold tomorrow, hold today, or tomorrow rather. 5.1 million voters decide Kogi, Imo, Bayelsa's future. And the writers read, INEC distributes non-sensitive materials. Military state security warn troublemakers to steer clear. And the police chief deploys DIGs, bans, sirens, revolving lights, covered number plates, tinted glasses. FRC sends 1,500 personnel. And above the nameplate, Wike remains my principal, says Fubara. Customs to evacuate 6,000 overtime cargoes from seaports. That's about it for the leadership newspaper. On the bottom strip, quickly, Nigeria, Saudi Arabia sign MOU for oil, gas sector cooperation. Blueprint is next. 24 hours to Kogi and Imo, Bayelsa polls. Parties bicker. Military warns thugs of injurious consequences. Troops neutralized 113 terrorists, arrested 300 in 1 week. That's according to the DHQ. Also, RMRDC upgrading technology for shea butter production to boost export. And then on the bottom strip, federal government constructs 10,000 housing units in FCT. NLLG absorbs self from soaring cooking gas prices. Federal government lashes at Obi over comments on 2.17 trillion naira supplementary. Next is Voice of Liberty. Elections. Some persons plan to disguise in military wear to cause violence. That's the DHQ. And then Nigerians, the supplementary budget, federal government slams Obi over comment. Tinubu arrives Riyadh for Saudi Africa summit. Human rights bill, group flays, moves to rearrest Emefiele. Strike, stop politicizing labor movement. Kiyamo warns NLC, TUC. Then Kogi, Imo, Bayelsa off-cycle polls. DSS cautions against inflammatory statements. Next is this Nigeria. The final showdown, talking about the elections tomorrow. Security agencies issue stand guidelines. IPC calls for safety protection for reporters. Then on the ear of the newspaper, Wike remains my boss, says Fubara sues for peace. SAC appointee who ignores National Assembly invitations. Akpabio tells Tinubu Russia-Ukraine war forces drop in India's demand for Nigeria's crude. Labour disrupts flights to Owerri from Abuja, Lagos airports. Kiyamo cautions NLC, TUC against politicizing protest. Next is the Guardian newspaper. Renewed hope agenda. The big story, political class at profligate best as citizens languish. The reps summons FRS, others moves to check powers of CBN government. Election litigation over. Real governance should commence. UBA importers to pay more as customs revises rate to 783 naira to dollar amid 70% decline. That's about it for the Guardian newspaper. Next is the Nature newspaper. Nigeria sets agenda for COP28 in Dubai. Climate justice, finance top priorities. Fact check, does palm oil serve as lubricant in automobiles? You can read that up on page 14. Emir of Nasarawa calls for collective action on climate change. The minister prioritizes environmental health, sanitation over vaccines. Government demands naval base in Ogun State. Federal government, Naseni, begin talks on climate change, smart solar irrigation. And then on the bottom strip, Smith opens with 63 to co-lead Hong Kong Open. Last but not least is the Business Day newspaper. Chams, CWG, MRS, Transcorp hotels surpass 600% returns. Stock market gains 10 trillion naira in 10 months. Domiciliary accounts add $5.72 billion in 1 month amid weaker naira. Sanwo-Olu seeks $1 billion for Film City. Others at AIF. That's about it for Abuja. City project names for $300 million to reverse the Japa syndrome. That's about it for the Business Day newspaper. Kenny.
All right, Ibrahim. So there you have it. All the papers that is have given us their major stories that is on the front pages of the newspapers.